All right. A day of action. Monday morning starts the action. All right. Wunderbar. Isn't that what Monday morning is meant to be? Back in the grind? Back to action? You know, after being out of action? Is that the weekend called? All right, beautiful. Welcome to Tanya today. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zich in Kadesh in Montreal, Canada, where it's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you with Tanya. And we share with TJ Terrence in Melbourne, Australia, 12:30 in the morning. Kol HaKavod. Amazing. Beautiful. Who else is here? John, North Carolina, shalom. David is joining us in Mexico. Going from California to Mexico. All right. Rabbi, good afternoon to you in Morocco. Daphne is having a marvelous Monday in South Carolina. And Eugenia is having a Boker Tov in Calgary. Beautiful. Rachamim is with us in Houston, Texas. Cindy is joining us in Florida. Omak is in Marietta, California. And joining us is Alberto in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Welcome. Galise is in Georgia. Who else is here with us today? Elise in West Virginia. Gillies and Elise, right? Stan is joining us all the way from London, England. Beautiful. Good afternoon. We have Julia with us in Pennsylvania, rather, where the birds are chirping and the sun is shining. All right. Beautiful. Welcoming spring. Good night to June in Australia. Brett in Pennsylvania. And who else is here? Diane is in Arizona. Davida and Liba in New York. We have Janet with us. Shalom in Missouri. Agnes is in Germany with us. Beautiful. We have Vilma and Bacha together. We have Rachel Acoy in Peru. Rachel is in South Carolina. We have Jesse, Heat Doctor, and a few others. Leah is in Florida with us. Rachel, to remind me, Rachel, forgot where you are. Yenta Televenta, beautiful. What action can we take that is the ultimate action that surpasses them all? We're in a world of action. Here it's where it takes place. In this physical world, engaged in the physicality, the materiality of this world. And the material is dealt with through action, right? Not with your thoughts, not with your words, but it's an action-oriented world, the physicality of this world. And it's there that we make the dwelling place for God, where it is under the realm of Klippa, the dominion of Klippa, the shell that covers over on the presence and the reality, the realness of God. By us engaging in a material world, we transform that because we use everything towards divine service to connect us to God through a mitzvah. So every physical act we do, whether we're the act of putting on tefillin, the act of lighting Shabbos candles, the act of taking lulav and esrog on the holiday of Sukkot and shaking it in all directions, right? Whatever it might be. All of those things, action-oriented mitzvahs, is what makes a dwelling place in the material physical world for the Creator. And we do that. That's our job. But what is the ultimate act that surpasses all of them? Is tzedakah, charity. It's unique. It's equal to all of the other mitzvahs together. That's what our sages say in the Talmud. In the Jerusalem Talmud, our sages consider the commandment of charity, of tzedakah. It is called, or it's referred to as the commandment, as if it's the one and only. Now, why is that? It's because the action that's involved of being charitable surpasses all of the other acts that we do. And that is, first of all, just as a reminder that the whole purpose of our soul coming into our body and to battle with the animal soul is in order to refine and to elevate the animal soul in the body through the action of a mitzvah. Again, whether it's putting on tefillin, lighting Shabbos candles, benching lulav and esrog. But when it comes to that refinement of the person, the soul, and the body, and even the material world, where is that mostly taking place? Is in the mitzvah of tzedakah, of being charitable. Why? Why is it there? So, simply put, the engagement of my being when it comes to tefillin is just, the act of, this limb and this arm strapping, putting on the tefillin. Lighting Shabbos candles, right? It's just a simple action that's involved. Lulav and esrog, making the blessing on it, right? Simple actions that's involved. But not so when it comes to charity. Because the root of charity is the money that you have, that you give. That money, you had to work hard to earn it. As the old saying goes, blood, sweat, and tears to make your money. And that money, so in other words, it's taking a lot of your vital soul, animal soul's engagement, making that money, and now you're giving it away. Some of it, right? To charity. That's a greater engagement of your being in that mitzvah. Now, let's say the money that you have, you won a lottery, or you got an inheritance, or you didn't have to work so hard to get it. So it wasn't a complete engagement. It wasn't like, yeah. Yet, it still is. Because with that money, you could use it towards yourself for your bodily needs, for your livelihood, and what your personal needs are. And yet, what do? You give, instead of sustaining your life, you're giving to others to sustain their lives. That's why our sages have said that charity, tzedakah, will hasten the messianic redemption. Because one act of charity elevates a great deal of our vital/animal soul and all of its faculties and its powers more than any other mitzvahs, as we just explained. So that's very powerful. Very powerful idea. And why it is so important to be constantly giving. Because it's a much more of an expression of me, in the sense that the toil to make that money or to use that money for my own life is greater. Right? Again, the simple physical act of putting on tefillin, lighting Shabbos candles, benching the lulav and esrog, right? Eating the matzah on Passover, and whatever other mitzvahs that there are, doesn't necessitate full engagement of your physical being, but charity does. Again, because you work hard for it. You endure, like, if you're a farmer, you work hard to make your money. You're a complete engagement. If you're maybe a white collar, just you push a few buttons here and there, and you made lots of money, so it wasn't with great. When there was not a great effort that you had to make, but yet that money is about using for your life, which is your entire being. And now you give some of that away. You're charitable. That's real transformation of the vital soul, the body of the individual that gets involved and enveloped in making a dwelling place for Hashem. Very powerful. Hence we see the Rebbe always being charitable. The famous dollars on Sundays that the Rebbe would stand for hours. He gave blessings and he gave up, but the primary thing was he was giving money to people that they should use that money. And of course we took the Rebbe's dollar and kept it, and we exchanged it for another dollar or more to give to charity. So we'd have the Rebbe's dollars in order to inspire people. Give. It's going to hasten the redemption. Because, again, the redemption is about transforming Klipas Noiga to Kedusha. Klipas Noiga, the shell that's covering over, and of the divine. And the more we transform the Klipas Noiga to holiness, right, the more we are refining the world, ourselves and the world, and therefore hastening Mashiach. So the Rebbe would stand for hours to give out, to inspire. Give. Very powerful. Today's Chav Zayin Adar. Today's the 27th day of Adar. It's a day that our dear Rebbe had his stroke in 1992. And didn't talk after that. For 2 years, he had a stroke, and then 2 years later, he had a second stroke. The final event at Gimel Tammuz. So this is the day that the Rebbe stopped speaking, farbringen, dollars, giving out dollars and giving blessings although people still got blessing, but in a different manner. This is the day that we become the Rebbe's mouthpiece. So we could take the teachings of Tanya, teachings of the Rebbe, and we could continue to spread forth the teachings. So here, this is the day that we, all of us, it becomes incumbent upon us, being that we've been inspired by the Tanya, inspired by the Rebbe, to take these teachings and share it. Share it with another. That's also a form of charity. Although here we're speaking specifically about money, because money is what you worked for. Put yourself into it to make your money. And even if you didn't have to work hard to get it, it came easy, the money. But that money is to sustain your life, and you give some of that away. 10%, 20% of it away. That's amazing and beautiful. Do you have any questions, any comments? So we all have a way that we can help bring final redemption. I want to thank those that have been very kind and giving. Thank you, as many of you have. May you continue to be able to give. Welcome Jerry from Texas. And Michael from Israel. May you help him bring Mashiach. Brett, what about obligating giving money? Is that a mitzvah? Yeah, it's an obligation to give minimum 10%, up to 20% of your earnings. Yep. Beautiful. Tanya's inspired me to give tzedakah more than I've given in my life before. Beautiful. That means you're learning well. That's what it means. You're learning properly. Beautiful. All right, I don't see any other questions. Our conversation will continue. The Alter Rebbe is not stopping here with this notion. He's going to counter what we just said in tomorrow's class. Make the other side of the argument. That, yeah, isn't what we're doing now even more important? Stay tuned, folks. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you for Chabad Zurich and Kadesh in Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Rambam is coming up. We had a wonderful TRC last night. We had a wonderful Torah portion class. Thank you all for being part of this wonderful journey together. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.